Following a disputed election and a tie vote, the U.S. Congress installs the most unpopular president in U.S. history as David Jefferson Adams becomes the 44th President of the United States. Shortly after the election, increased unrest, rioting, and a growing number of militias have given rise to ever-increasing domestic terrorism. In response, the President invokes the Homeland Security Act and declares martial law on the West Coast and other areas of the country. Though highly contested, a Supreme Court ruling sidesteps the electoral process, disqualifying popular presidential candidates from several states. Public outrage explodes when a sham election leads to incumbent David Adams accepting a second term in office. During the 57th Inauguration Day ceremonies, Washington, D.C. is struck by a low-yield nuclear weapon, killing David Adams and most of the U.S. Congress. The destruction of Washington, D.C. effectively breaks the chain of succession, sending the nation into chaos. In an emergency vote, the European Union deploys peacekeepers in the greater D.C. area to secure international interests. With separatist sentiment rising, California's governor declares home rule and secedes from the Union. Texas follows quickly and declares sovereignty, taking neighboring states with them and forming the Republic of Texas. Now, the once United States of America lie in ruin. The time for words has passed, and a second American Civil War now erupts as 7 factions wage war across the land. They battle one another to reclaim a nation, to restore peace, to rebuild this shattered union.
What is happening, good people? How are you doing? Welcome to Monday Madness. I'm your host, Jeff C. I hope you had a lovely weekend, if possible. I really do. I mean, look, it's getting colder up here in Rainbow Unicorn Land. Not sure how the weather is going where you are. I finally turned on the heat today, sort of thing, because, yeah, it's getting a bit cool. Anyways, this is the bigger picture here, in which we talk about the most important things in the world that are going on right now. And, of course, you know where that always begins. So we're going to get right into the most important things. Of course, the things that would be YouTube approved, Wajiki approved, and co. Because I care. I really do. I just care so much about... I care about everything and everyone. And I want to make sure that I'm being as inclusive and diverse as I possibly can be. I'm trying to sustain that diversity and that inclusion on a daily basis. Oh, it's not even enough. It's a minute or a second by second basis. I wish I had a gauge, though, that would tell me when I dip below the level of accepted or necessary sort of diversity inclusion. Yeah, I'm going to check here to make sure my sound is coming in. Yep, there we are. We're all here ready to go. And so, yeah, we care so much here about this stuff. So we have to start with what's most important here. So what are we going to do here? I know, I'm going to share my screen here. And that's not what I wanted to show you. Are you kidding me? I can't get to that stuff yet. What can we do here? Let's think. What do people from the stable allow us to look into? Let's see. I know. Let's see. Cats. Yeah. Okay. And we got lots of cats. Let's see what's in the news here. SPCA tackling city's feral cat problem. Channel Cat CC33 makes a splash as new recreation center opens. Is it a recreation center for cats? You ever seen those cafes that are for like pets and dogs and stuff? You just have to wonder about people. You really do. It is 2020 though. John Gray, what can we learn from cats? Don't live in an imagined future. Mars Temptation made a a Halloween horror movie for cats. People are making movies for cats. The year is 2020. PetSmart, Canada's essential cat grooming tips. We've got Scam Alert. Fake Fargo website claims to sell designer cats, maybe? Bus plunges and lost cats, visceral newspaper connections. Here is Bro Bible. It's about time we reevaluate our relationship with cats. It's true. And look at this guy. It looks like there's an angry cat here, and the guy's hand's bandaged up. I guess it's time the cat, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. Is it normal for my cats to groom each other? Two cats. Is it normal for my cats to groom each other? Is it normal? No, it's not normal. That's not normal. They're not social distancing. Come on, seriously. What's the matter with you? 6 feet. 6 feet apart, cats. Come on, there was a dog that got COVID today or yesterday or something. Got to keep those cats apart. Is it normal for cats to? Absolutely not. Where have we ever seen cats grooming each other? That is just reprehensible behavior from our feline friends. I think we're going to have to do something about that. We've got the Critter Aid Animal Sanctuary in Summerland is looking for cats, maybe? Cats looking to improve ahead of Georgia Challenge. I guess that's something to do with sports. High-quality cat genome helps identify novel cause. Is it a novel cause? Because I know novels. You guys ever read any novels? You ever read those New York Times bestsellers? You know, the ones that are always in the front of the bookstore? I like the ones that are fiction. You guys ever read those? There's also a novel about a virus, too. You can find it in your bookstore. It's in the fiction section. But we're here to talk about cats. Are you missing this cat? Yes. Well, I don't even know the cat, but I'm missing it. Cat in Chatham's shelter lands leading role in commercial. Some people just get all the breaks. They just get all the breaks. I don't know how it works, but this cat, I don't know. We have to investigate this cat to see what type of connections this cat has. Cats 2020 report MVP. Something with sports. It looks like rare two-headed snake discovered by Florida house cat. See, they're always finding things. Yeah, curiosity. What did the cat bring in? Volleyball sophomores help cats in different ways. I'm sure. I mean, it's just such critical news. And Susan Wojcicki would get this on trending. Come on, Susan. Come on. Seriously, I fed you carrots last night. Come on, give me a break. Put me on trending just once. David Braley, owner of CFL Argonauts, Lions, and Tiger Cats, dies. He owns 3 teams? 3? I don't know. There's something wrong with that. I mean, how can you own, I guess he's owned them at different times, but that's a bit weird. 3 reasons people don't adopt black cats. And I have been on a crusade. I was downtown Montreal today with my signs, Black Cat Lives Matter. And I was shouting at people. I say, do you have a cat? Is it a black cat? See? And people would tell me that white cats and tabby cats and brown cats and all different colors of cats, but very few people said they had a black cat. And I said, Black Cat Lives Matter. You understand? You have white privilege. See, you're not thinking about how much black cat lives matter. And that's a serious problem. And your white privilege has clouded your judgment and has caused you to buy cats that are not black. So you have to get rid of that. Smith Falls woman accused of stealing neighborhood cats. And this is a 33-year-old Smith Falls woman. You better wake your ass up. Your kitties can have their own litter box palace thanks to this affordable hack. It's an affordable hack. But if it's a hack, do you really have to buy it? I mean, isn't a hack supposed to be something you do on a computer or something? You ever seen those videos? You guys ever whack your head with a mallet 500 times a day and put on Philip DeFranco? Just curious. Because they do things like life hacks and stuff like that. It's like, I don't know, how to, make a container for your chewing gum. and you can attach it to the end of your pencil or something like that. YouTube 2020, you know, the typical stuff that they put up. Of course, we've got this Sioux City Council votes to revise ordinance involving feral cats. And I got to hand it to the feral cats. As I said, I mean, I know a few feral cats in my neighborhood. They're wilder than any animal that is out there. There is no question in my mind that I see squirrels and raccoons and skunks and all kinds of critters, and there is nothing more wild than a feral cat. I'm telling you. You think those things they are cuddly and cute. I love cats, but I'm telling you, when they get out in the wild, the instincts take over. Cat Pride, of course. We need it. Cat Pride launches Twin to win social contest. Humane Society again overwhelmed with cats. Police 26 cats, 6 dogs, 2 caged squirrels, and owl. The owl. The owl's probably like, WTF is. How did I end up with this crew? You know. And the 2 squirrels. Did they put the 2 caged squirrels with the owl? I thought we had 2 squirrels in here. Boy, this owl looks so fat he probably couldn't even fly right now. Grant helps to address cat overpopulation issues. CARES cat shelters in Langley plans online fundraiser. Animal shelter cat kennels are full, encouraging adoptions. So I mean, it's obviously the most essential news that is out there. I think you can all agree with me that this is what we do on this channel, right? We focus on what YouTube says is really important. And obviously, we know cats are the most important thing when it comes to YouTube. The second most important thing, of course, would be, well, let's just stay with the first thing. How about this? John Gray, what can we learn from cats? Don't live in an imagined future. Look at this guy. He's trying to figure out the cat. The cat's like, who's this freaking idiot here? Who's this stinky-ass old stupid human? The philosopher's new book attacks the idea that any ideology has the answers to life's questions, but advice from cats might be this exception. I always tell people, fear solutions more than anything. Really. Solutions are what you should fear the most. From this NWO, of course, because they always try to tell you that there's all these problems, but they have the solutions, of course. They got them. Yeah, you know they're coming. You know they're coming. They go, oh, we got a solution for that, and we have a solution for that. So let's take a little gander at this silly little article here off The Guardian. Civilized life is like a spider's web, easy to destroy but hard to construct. I don't know are they really that hard to construct? I know some of them take a while, but seriously? Like, I'm knocking down spider webs all the time, and then they're back up the next day, so I don't know. What is it like to be a cat? And I like spiders, by the way. John Gray has spent a lifetime half wondering. So he's been half wondering. He spent half of his lifetime wondering? Was he half of his life? John Gray spent half of his life wondering about cats? What it's like to be a cat? The philosopher, I guess so. He's thinking about cats for half of his life. He must be a philosopher. To his many fans, the intellectual cat's pajamas. To his critics, the least palatable of fur balls. Has had a feline companion at his home since he was a boy in South Shields. In adult life, he now lives in Bath. He lives in a bath with his wife, Miyako, a dealer in Japanese antiquities. That's diversity, guys. Good job. This has principally been 2 pairs of cats. 2 Burmese sisters, Sophie and Sarah, and 2 Burman brothers, Jamie and Julian. The last of them, Julian, died earlier this year, age 23. Gray, currently catless, is by no means a sentimental writer, but his new book, Feline Philosophy, Cats and the Meaning of Life, is written in the memory of... Do you guys ever hear about this book, Everything You Needed to Learn in Life You Learned in Kindergarten? You guys ever heard of that book? I wonder who wrote that. You wonder. You'd be like, does the person that wrote that have a really small head? Or did they just like really small hats? I'm not sure. But there's a book out there that's They used to promote all the time. Everything you need to know, you learned in kidding. I guess so. Hey, sharing. What else did you learn? You learned how to use crayons. What else did you learn? Papier-mâché. Yeah, pretty much yeah, that's it, everything. Yeah, that's it, man. That's all you need to know. All right, go on out there. You send them out in the woods. There you go. You got everything you need to know. I wonder who puts those books out. I wonder if they become New York Times bestsellers. I wonder if New York Times bestsellers are actually good for you. I wonder if maybe New York Times bestsellers are part of your mind control, or if it's just really integral cat sort of philosophy that every single one of us should be reading intensively every day. So other philosophers have been enthralled by cats over the years. I know philosophers, right? There are Schrödinger and his box, of course, and Michel de Montaigne, who famously asked, "When I am playing with my cat, how do I know she is not playing with me?" Well, imagine you're a philosopher. And it's like, this is the deep thought that you have. He famously said this. Would this be a New York Times bestseller? Maybe it could be a title of a New York Times bestseller. This is just deep. When I think about it, I think, why am I wasting my time doing the type of work that I'm doing when I could be a philosopher and I could be thinking about deep, deep, deep things, like incredibly deep things, like when I'm playing with my cat, how do I know she is not playing with me? And that's it. How do you know? How do you know she's not playing with you? How do you know? What if you're playing with your cat and you're thinking, I'm playing, but the cat isn't, right? Or you're thinking, I don't know. What would you be thinking? Like, what else would you be thinking about the cat? Is the cat playing with me, or am I playing with the cat? Or this one will knock your socks off. This one would blow again, all philosophers all of a sudden would have to retire because Jeff C would come in and say, what if you're both playing? Oh my God, oh my God, are you serious? You blew my mind. So you're saying that not the human's playing and the cat is playing and they're actually playing together? Why is that not a New York Times bestseller? Seriously. I'll put on a really small hat if you want, I mean, like, seriously. Why is that not a New York Times bestseller? Everything you needed to know you learned in kindergarten. Everything. Everything you needed to know. Everything. Seriously. Why aren't you guys read? Do you guys not read Ellen DeGeneres' Book of the Month Club or Oprah Winfrey own her own books? You don't read those? What's the matter with you? What's the matter? You not getting enough mind control? Are you not pulling out that mallet and just whacking your head and just 500 times a day? You just I like Ellen DeGeneres. Yeah, put on chunk yogurt. CNN, please. Barbara Starr is so sexy. I don't know, like maybe you're missing out. Maybe that's why. I don't understand why people aren't reading their New York Times bestsellers. They put them out there for you. They're saying, please read me. Please read me. Please do. Please. It will make you, I'm not sure. It'll make you something for sure. But yeah, when I'm playing with the cat, how do I know she is not playing with me? The rationalist, René Descartes, Gray notes, once hurl the cat out of a window in order to demonstrate the absence of conscious awareness in non-human animals. It terrified screams were mechanical reactions, he concluded. Yeah, mechanical. Yeah, that's right. See, René Descartes knew, right? I think, therefore I am. And he thought that the cat was mechanical. So he proved that the cat was mechanical by throwing it out the window. And then when he went down to pick up the remains of the cat, he realized there are the little gears and little springs and things, right, that make the cat do the cat things. So thank God for philosophy. Thank God for these deep thinkers. I wonder if New York Times bestsellers would be a place to learn about these things. I wonder. Possibly. Certainly The Guardian, though. Anyways, and what else is important? Of course, we know diversity is extremely important. We all know this. Willis Towers Watson sets out to diversity action plan. The trouble with diversity data. There we go. WTW, money management industry could do more to increase diversity. Art scene, Anthony Kiendel believes in radical diversity at the art gallery. Yeah, there you go. Radical diversity. Why don't you put up cat art? Like, seriously. In 5 years from now, the Metropolitan Museum in New York City will have like a cat art sort of display, and people will pay good money. They'll pay $33 to go to see all the artwork done by cats, curious cats. You could get cats, and you can get them to stick their paws in paint, and then get them to play around with things, and then you could take that and make art out of it. You know the craziest things that you'll see, though? Like, I don't know if you've seen this on YouTube, but there's like a cat that plays the piano. And like, you think that's okay. I'll just show you that, because you guys got to kind of see that for a second. There's a cat. It's quite cute. I think it's called Nora. So cat playing piano. There you go. They know what we want. Cat playing piano. This is the cat playing piano here. Just watch this. Practice makes pure. I've got to. You got to see where this goes. So. He's already better than Kenny G. Already! Nobody can deny that this cat just smoked the entire career of Kenny G, without a doubt. How did Kenny G become successful? That's a real big question. You wonder about those things. It's like, how does somebody that makes the worst music in the history of the universe become successful? I don't know. Maybe it's the same way that New York Times bestsellers become that. I don't know. Could be. You gotta love this cat. I absolutely love this cat, I gotta say. But the crazy thing about this, what I wanted to show you was... so the cat's named Nora, cat, piano. And then they got like symphony. You gotta be kidding me. I'm sorry. I don't know. Yeah, before I get a copyright strike, there are actually orchestras that have composed music to this frickin' cat. You just gotta ask yourself, I mean, is this what I signed up? Is this what I practiced 10 hours a day for 20 years? Am I gonna get some stupid cat? I mean, I don't know. You'd think it's a joke, but it's real. They actually do this stuff. So anyways, diversity matters. And of course, racial diversity, we need a lot more of it. We've got op-ed, the future of our profession depends entirely. Dorchester is a diverse, I guess it always has been, except when it used to be all white, I guess. But you know what? 2030, or 2020. Zura welcomes its first chief diversity officer. What a job. Imagine you were like the NASCAR, you were like the head of the NASCAR diversity and inclusivity department that they just newly created. I mean, imagine that job. Imagine what you get to do all day. I guess you'd get to play video games and I don't know. What would you do? I mean, what is there to do? Well, we all know that white people are bad, right? Here, a smart brief. Where will your organization finally achieve inclusion and diversity? Finally. I don't know. Let's go find out. Let's go to Africa. Let's go to India. Let's go to all these places and let's find out. Let's go. Let's go to Japan. Let's find out. Oh, they're not doing it there. Oh, why not? Don't they realize how bad white people are? Haven't they been told? Don't they have New York Times bestsellers in Japan? Come on, seriously. They must have New York Times bestsellers in Japan. It's written on the book. It says it, New York Times bestseller. #1 New York Times bestseller. Turtles All the Way Down. Turtles. Imagine you read a book called Turtles All the Way Down. Could you imagine? Who writes a book titled Turtles All the Way Down? I wonder who it is. Maybe we could find out. Let's ask Google. Turtles All the Way... it's John Green. Yeah, John Green. John Green, if you don't know, is the world's most exciting man. You thought he was that guy from that beer commercial, but it's definitely John Green. I'm telling you, YouTube community, John Green is got to be the most exciting, most interesting man I have ever seen. He is just a fountain of wow. It's just incredible. And here he is reading the first chapter.
Good morning, Hank.
Here he is. Look at this guy. You just
chapter of Turtles All the Way
yeah.
Down.
You just look at this guy. You just say, this is a guy that I want to hang out with all the time. I just want to be next to him. I've never met anybody so interesting in all my life. He must write the most incredible books ever. Could his books be New York Times bestsellers? I'm just curious. It's possible.
Which I'll be reading to you today. Okay, I think all you need to know is that this story is narrated by a 16-year-old girl named Asa Holmes. Also, it starts with an epigraph from Arthur Schopenhauer.
So you wrote a book that is narrated by a 16-year-old girl? Oh my God. Are you serious? Is there something going on up there, John? I don't know. John. What's your story, John? Seriously? Why do people watch you on YouTube? I'm just curious. Is it because Turtles All the Way Down? I mean, I just look at these people and I'm just blown away. I just say the intellect, the culture, the incredible wisdom of somebody like John Green is so mind-blowing. It's like I wouldn't be able to stand next to him. I'd say, sir, I can't. I'm not worthy. I must step away. Turtles all the way down, and I'm all the way down. I've got to go down further. You must be up on a pedestal, Mr. John Green. You are something. You are an astonishing person. I got to say this, seriously. These guys.
He can do what he wills, but he cannot will what he wills. Chapter 1. At the time I first realized I might be fictional, my weekdays were spent at a publicly funded institution on the north side of Indianapolis called White River High School, where I was required to eat lunch at a particular time, between 12:37 and 1:14 p.m., by forces so much larger than myself that I couldn't even begin to identify them. If those forces had given me a different lunch period, or if the table mates who helped author my fate had chosen...
Now I know what's happening. Everybody right now that's listening to this is ordering John Green's Turtles All the Way Down. But if you have trouble and you don't like to read or you got dyslexia, I think they're making a movie about it. Are they making a movie about it, John? Let's just... Yeah. No, I don't know. Turtles All the Way Down. Let's put... Is there a movie? Let's just see. There's always a movie. Come on, there's got to be a movie. There's got to be a movie. Turtles, yeah, the film. There you go. Turtles All the Way Down. That's interesting symbolism. So you got Beyond Star Films here. I wonder what's going on with that. Is that a cat playing the guitar? I'm just curious. Is it a cat? Is that because I don't think it'd be a human. Would a human play guitar that badly? It's possible, but that sounds like how a cat would play the guitar. I'm not sure. It kind of, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like The Edge. You ever listen to The Edge? The guy that can't really play guitar without 500 pedals? It kind of sounds like that. I don't know. They made a film. There's a film.
And you have my dad who resigns.
Gosh, it just looks so interesting. It just looks. Could you just imagine? Imagine sleeping out overnight for Turtles All the Way Down. You're like, I just have to be the first person to see this film. Anyways, we'll move beyond John Green. Turtles All the Way Down. What can you learn from cats? We already looked at inclusivity. Oh no, we looked at diversity. We didn't look at inclusivity. Study. TV industry falls short on off-camera inclusivity. Wait a second. Now let's try to figure this out. So this is Canadian Brainwashing Corporation, which is publicly funded by Canadian taxpayers and wants to turn your kids into trannies. And here they're saying, study. TV industry falls short on off-camera inclusivity. Now let's try to figure this out. Television is stuff that's filmed on camera, is it not? I'm just usually use a camera to film television. So television industry is falling short off camera. But if television is on camera, then I gotta get that mallet out. Oh, it's gonna feel better. Oh, put on chunk yogurt. Oh, turtles all the way down. Feeling better now. So here we go. Minimal progress made promoting diversity for behind-the-camera jobs, says new UCLA study. Zendaya accepts the Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actress for a Drama Series during the 72nd Emmy Awards, despite the historic win and a number of others. Diversity still lags behind for behind-the-camera jobs, behind-the-camera jobs. I guess it's the gaffers. Is that what it is? The guys that wheel stuff around and the guys that build the sets. Is there not enough? There's too many white privilege there. Is that what it is? So the problem isn't on camera, it's off camera. See, there's always a problem though. There's white people we know are terrible. We know this. White people we know have tons of privilege, and we know all this, and we know Orange Man is very bad. So when Zendaya, interesting name, and Zendaya won last month's Emmy Award for Top Drama Series Actress, her triumph seemed to underscore the TV industry's progress towards inclusivity. The Euphoria star became the second black winner in a category in 5 years, following Viola Davis' drought-ending win for How to Get Away with Murder in 2015. To get away with murder? I don't know. I guess. Yeah. Join the Democrat Party. But such success contrasts with the lag in diversity in behind-the-camera jobs and among TV executives as measured by yardsticks of race and gender, according to the new University of California, Los Angeles study released on Thursday. There has been a lot of progress for women and people of color in front of the camera, Darnell Hunt, dean of the school's social science divisions, and the study's co-author, said in a statement, "Unfortunately, there has not been the same level of progress behind the camera." Oh, man, it just doesn't end, doesn't it? Oh, it is just out of this world. Anyways, now we're going to get to the serious stuff. We had our fun. We're going to get rid of the cat. We're going to get rid of the diversity. We'll get rid of the inclusivity. We'll start off here with the censorship. So just in case you're wondering, why would I talk about cat stories for the first half hour or so? It's because of the censorship and everything that's going on. And it's quite serious what's going on. They're shutting down freedom of speech. We know this. The ADL, UCLA, all the different groups that are here to silence people and shut down freedom of speech. Again, hate speech is just freedom of speech. That's what I need to say to the YouTube community. Freedom of speech means somebody can say the most offensive things to you or to your peoples or to your religion or whatever. That's freedom of speech. You don't like it, fine. Go live in communist dictatorships. Although, you probably won't have to move in a short while with the way things are going. But that is what is happening. So, and of course, QAnon is a psyop. I tell it all the time to folks. So I'm not here to defend QAnon. I'm here to stand up for censorship. So there has been a lawsuit that has been launched by many of the top channels that were hit with the censorship, that lost their channels basically. And they've grouped together and filed a lawsuit against YouTube. So we'll take a quick look at this here. Both plaintiffs and the public will suffer irreparable harm, the lawsuit alleges. YouTube is facing a lawsuit from a group of channel owners who say their rights were violated by the platform's recent moderation action against QAnon accounts. The users, many of whom boasted hundreds of thousands of followers on the platform, are seeking temporary restraining order to restore their accounts. YouTube's massive deplatforming, which occurred just 3 weeks prior to the 2020 presidential election, worked to the severe detriment of both conservative content creators and the American voters who seek out their content, the complaint alleges. YouTube took draconian action so swiftly that the plaintiffs received no advance notice and were not able to download their own content. Now, I have lost more channels than pretty much anybody out there, right? And knocking on wood, I don't want to lose my channel. That's one of the reasons why I've deleted all my content, and I'm, taking a different approach to doing shows. You'll never see anything in the titles conspiratorial, even in the thumbnails. And this is going to extend to Patreon. There's never going to be any sort of hashtags or anything anymore. It's just going to be Jeff C. Live or whatever, right? Monday Madness and stuff like that for very good reasons. So it's just the way that, Bob Duck and Weave with the censorship that is here. But having lost a whole bunch of channels, so going back to, 2013, 2014, when I was losing channels left, right, and center, all my Free Radio Revolution channels were taken down one after another, right? It was very gut-wrenching. And a lot of them, even the backups, had tremendous amounts of subs and, and all that, but they would all be taken down one after another. Start up another one, it'd be taken down, start up another one. So I know a lot of people in this realm have gone through the exact same thing, right? And so it is pretty nasty the way that they... Like, if they were to say, okay, we've decided that your content doesn't suit our policies, we're going to give you a week to, download all your videos and clear off the platform and inform your subs and all that, then maybe that would be a little easier to take for these people. For any of us, right? Because then you would at least be able to get the word out. You'd be able to say, okay, I'm not going to be here. I'll be on BitChute or BitChute. You're gonna wait a long time if you're on BitChute, though. These days, the way those uploads are going, my word, I don't even know where they go. I guess they just disappear. Maybe they go. What is that? They go into another dimension, perhaps. That's possible. Is maybe they've hooked up to the Lovecraft dimension or something, right? Your videos just get sucked into another reality or something, right? Another dimension. I'm not sure anyways, but it has been pretty rough trying to upload things to BitChute, and apparently a lot of people are having these problems, so it's not just me. But yeah, there's no justification for this type of censorship. Now, it could be argued that this is all part of the plan. The PragerU lawsuit that happened, I predicted it when it came out because it said PragerU. Good old PragerU and his fireside chats. Do you like PragerU? You guys ever watch PragerU? It kind of rhymes with something else that maybe it should be called, but PragerU is a conservative, with quotation marks, because you have to put them in quotation marks when you're talking about these people, conservative YouTube platform that was censored by YouTube, and they launched a lawsuit against YouTube saying that they were being unfairly censored, and they weren't really losing any videos. They were getting 18 and over warnings on some other videos and whatnot. And I predicted that the lawsuit would nothing would come out of it. And in fact, in many ways, the way I anticipated it was part of the controlled sort of flow of information. That if you have this high-profile YouTube channel that comes out, launches a big lawsuit against YouTube and loses, then it sets the example for and the tone for everybody else to say, well, even PragerU lost the lawsuit and they had the money and resources to fight it. So I correctly anticipated that YouTube would win that, and they did. And now we have this one. So if QAnon is a controlled operation, is QAnon purposely being censored, say like Alex Jones, in order to set the bar, clear out all the undesirables, and set the example saying, look, other people with much deeper resources came and tried to fight YouTube and they lost, so don't even bother. You see what I'm saying? But nonetheless, The only hope I could say is that if it's not part of that controlled system and a lawsuit does proceed, I do believe that they do have a lot of claims. And again, no way am I endorsing these channels. Some of them are worse than others, you could say, or some of them put out some good content. And, you know, I don't want to say anything bad about people. I'm not here to put people down. But the thing is that it gets muddy, right? Because we know that certain people are controlled. We know that QAnon is controlled. So how much of this lawsuit would be part of that control system is the bigger question, at least on my mind. Although I do support people taking action against YouTube, because YouTube is a monopoly and it's a bad situation. And the reality is that the whole thing kind of revolves around the Section 230, which is the clause that these social media giants can always fall back on, which means they can never be held liable for anything that gets uploaded to their channels. This, in some ways, makes it easier for people like us to upload content. Meaning that if Trump takes down Section 230, which he's threatening to do, that the social media giants will censor much worse than before, and that they might implement a system in which nothing gets up without their approval, meaning that every video that is uploaded is screened prior to being given the green light. So you have to be careful what you wish for when it comes to this stuff. This is the sticky thing with the whole Section 230, because people say, yeah, you should take down the Section 230. Well, the reality is that these social media giants are abusing their power, and that they are bona fide monopolies, and that they all need to be healed in. There's no question that they are, first of all, they have so much power that they have almost a full sort of power when it comes to public influence, meaning Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube are monopolies in their respective sort of field or areas, and that almost all of humanity is using these platforms. Therefore, they become something different than some private corporation that can say, we don't like what you're putting up, we're going to get rid of you. No, you're violating the First Amendment, like, clearly. And much more than that, they're violating their own policies, because, for instance, one of their policies is that they have a 3 warning system, which is really 4. You get one that's kind of a warning, which, that one's kind of a freebie, and then you get 3 more. And I've changed this policy many times. I've been hit so many times. Everybody knows this, so I probably know it much better than anybody else out there. But the reality is that you're supposed to have this system in which, if they find that you violate their policy, they give you a strike. They pull down a video. If you get a community guideline strike, you're suspended for a short while, and then you're allowed to resume. And then if you get another strike, then you're suspended a couple weeks, and then certain privileges are revoked and stuff like that. So, and it's always changing, but the reality is they bypassed all their own sort of thing, and they just cleared the swathe, or they just went and cleared the decks of all the so-called QAnon channels. But it's not just QAnon channels that have gone down. There's been a bunch of other channels that are, channels that are much, in my opinion, much better, and therefore that's real troublesome, because any censorship is troublesome, in my opinion. I'm against it wholeheartedly. I think back to the music industry, and some of the people that are older might remember there was that big thing in the 90s where they were putting the warnings on the labels, and all these bands were upset because they were getting warnings about profanity put on their labels, which really, for the bands, it's probably a good thing that they got the label or the warning sticker, because it meant kids are going to buy it, right? Because that's the way kids are, right? Like, come on, seriously? What are you going to go listen to frickin' the Hanson Brothers? Like, you're going to buy the Soundgarden album. You're going to buy the Nirvana album. You're going to buy, right, the Public Enemy or something like that, right? Because you want to hear something that they don't want you to listen to. But the reality is, and we talk about this a lot, is that the music industry is completely controlled, and there's nobody in the music industry that is standing up to this NWO, because they know if they do, I mean, now nobody that's known, nobody that's famous, that has an influence is going to reveal what's really going on. And it's ironic that you have these characters like Jello Biafra, who, you know, used to be one of these guys that would come out against this stuff, and now they're calling for more censorship. Like Sacha Baron Cohen, of course. I really hate Sacha Baron Cohen. I just seeing the guy's face just fills me with anger, because I hate him so much. Like, I hate his act. I hate his horrible speech that he gave at the ADL, calling for destruction of freedom of speech. These people are calling for what they claim to be against, which is totalitarianism, fascism, and all these things. And freedom of speech is freedom of speech. So again, this, at the end of the day, I want this case hopefully to go through, and I want YouTube to be punished so that they stop doing this horrible censorship, but I'm not going to hold my breath. So here they mention it. Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act typically protects platforms from lawsuits over moderation policies, and the law is likely to be the pillar of YouTube's legal defense. Republicans have proposed adding a duty of faith clause to Section 230, which would make it easier for lawsuits of this nature to succeed, but none of those efforts have made it into law. As a result, the lawsuit's legal merit remains uncertain. And then they're going to say here, at least one of the channels that ran into trouble for conspiracy content before October the 15th policy shift, the SGT Report channel, run by lead plaintiff in the case, was suspended in 2018 after promoting unfounded allegations about Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin terrorizing a small child. Although the channel was reinstated after subscribers complained, another of the accounts, True Reporting, has promoted a number of Pizzagate-adjacent conspiracy theories on Twitter, including allegations of children in Biden's family are victims of sex trafficking. So this gets into a bit of a chicken or egg thing. The QAnon kind of sprung out of Pizzagate. And Pizzagate is something that I was involved in initially. I fell for it for like a few weeks way back in 2016 because there was a lot of compelling evidence. When I dug deep into it, I realized that it was a psyop. Not that there isn't any little truths here and there, and there aren't nasty things going on, but it is a controlled psyop. And it is coming from the Trump administration, quantifiably. So QAnon comes from that, and they push a lot of the same type of conspiracies. And this, like, it's a bit tricky. Like, period, censorship is wrong. Okay? Because who is the arbiter of truth, and who decides that's fact or fiction or whatever? Well, you see how it works with their Kobe virus, right? There's only one truth, and it's the WHO, basically, right? But when it comes to this stuff, there are channels that were involved in this that were putting out a lot of bad disinformation. And again, I'm no fan of people that would do that, but the end of the day is it's freedom of speech, and that they're violating this. YouTube is by deleting all these channels. What would have been proper is just to go after the specific videos that you feel were, say attacks on baseless attacks or something, say on certain Democratic Party members, say for instance. Like one of the things that we were showing, okay, there was a character, I don't know if you remember, is a really wretched creature named David Seaman. And I got involved in, that guy was flagging my videos because I was exposing him because he was a complete liar and he was manufacturing absolute bullcrap. He would routinely go on YouTube videos. He would do live stream videos where he would be screaming over and over and over again, John Podesta is a PEDO, you know what, over and over again. the top of his lungs. And it's like, well, okay, maybe, right? That might be true. But why are you screaming that over and over again like an insane person? Like, what are you hoping to achieve? You're not providing any evidence. John Podesta writing an email talking about walnut sauce is not evidence, right? And that's what these people were doing. So I called a lot of them out back in the day with regards to that terrible disinformation that they were spreading. And here we are several years later now, and the whole thing now is being used as an excuse to get rid of. So you see where I'm coming at. What I'm trying to say is that was the QAnon operation, was its purpose to clear out the truth movement on YouTube and on social media in general? You see what I'm saying? I hope you understand what I'm saying. I think it's pretty clear. That's a big question. Because if it was, then it's been pretty successful, has it not? Which means that all these other channels get caught in the same dragnet because they get labeled and associated with these channels, and then they all get cleared out. And then who launches the lawsuit? Well, it's all the QAnon channels collectively. So again, it's hard to know. I don't know. Like, if I knew 100%, I would tell you, but I don't know. So I don't know the legitimacy of what is going on with this. Obviously, if these channels are legitimately trying to fight, then I'm on their side for standing up to this censorship. But I'm also acutely aware of how these operations function, and that these operations have greater objectives, which often are to destroy freedom of speech. And what happens inevitably within the conspiracy realm, because I don't look at myself as a conspiracy theorist. I'm not. Come on, Agenda 2030 is not a conspiracy. That's my thing. Agenda 2030, Agenda 21, the New World Order. Those aren't conspiracies. They're not at all conspiracies. They talk about them all the time, right? They're all over. The United Nations websites have all this information. Everything that I show is actually happening. It is the Great Reset. This is all happening. The underground pedo rings, in pizza parlors in Washington, D.C., those are operations. And then they attach themselves to Agenda 2030, Agenda 21, and all the real stuff. You understand? So it's like you take the real important stuff that is actually going on and you mix it with a bunch of bull crap, and then you use that as an excuse to clear it all out. You understand what I'm saying? So that's a possibility with this going forward. And as you see here, they say YouTube has long struggled with conspiracy content, but has only recently taken concrete steps to reduce its spread. In 2018, the platform began adding authoritative links to videos about conspiracy-adjacent topics like the moon landing or the Oklahoma City bombing, in hopings that the factual information would steer users away from wilder theories. The following year, YouTube changed its algorithm to downright conspiracy content, and platform moderators took a harder line against conspiracy videos, even banning a Shane Dawson video that explored popular conspiracies. Now, Shane Dawson works for YouTube. He might as well be the CEO or Susan Wojcicki's second in command. So you see how they mention that. I want to show you this here. So bring that up. YouTube's vague conspiracy platform. So Shane Dawson, who's very familiar with my work as well, because I did expose him quite frequently back in the day when I was doing a lot of that in Supreme Lord Commander. But look at this. Let's just show you this. And we'll put Shane Dawson, Susan Wojcicki, T. I'll just put T. Just to give you an example. So this is April 2019. There is the CEO of YouTube with Shane Dawson, and they're reading the art and craft of tea. So what is that about? Well, spilling the tea in the YouTube blog sphere is spilling gossip on people, right? So Shane Dawson, when you do search conspiracies on YouTube, let's put conspiracy in. You get the late night talk shows, The Nerdist here, BBC, Dr. Mike. Dr. Mike. Dr. Mike. Honestly, Dr. Mike. Do you think that Dr. Mike has the most punchable face in the history of YouTube thumbnails? Is it possible? Dr. Mike, what are you part of? Seriously, did you make a video saying that anybody that questions what's going on is an idiot? I bet you did. I wonder if you're actually a doctor. And then you see the odd one out. I've covered many of these characters before. And there's Shane Dawson. Craziest conspiracy theories. 14 million views on that one. So if I put conspiracy and I put Shane, you're going to see 11 million views on that one. 14 million views, right? Conspiracy theories, warning signs with Shane Dawson, 13 million views. There he is on H3H3 with Ethan and Hilla Klein, who met at the Holocaust Museum and are from Israel. There's conspiracy theories with Shane Dawson. There's the Mandela effect. You guys know about so-called conspiracy people that put out the Mandela effect? If you're not familiar with the Mandela effect, I exposed it years back. It's that your reality is being changed, and children's breakfast cereals and peanut butter jars are slightly altered because some portals open from CERN or something like that. Really silly stuff, real low-grade, idiotic stuff that right up the alley of Shane Dawson. In fact, when you put in Mandela, I'll just show you. Mandela, you'll see all the popular YouTubers that put this stuff out. Watch Mojo, Femilab, Mindful Thinks. It reminds me of the New York Times bestsellers, these types of channels. Here's one, Joe Scott, Clever News. And then you'd get Shane Dawson, of course. You get Tana Mongeau. You get, what's his name there? The extreme beta male who cried like a sobbing little sissy. Matt Santoro. These are all YouTube employees. So why are these conspiracies kosher? Why is it kosher approved to put out these types of conspiracies? Why does Shane Dawson get tens of millions of views doing crazy conspiracies that are beyond silly and do not have any merit, like the Mandela effect, or things like Chuck E. Cheese, recycling slices of pizza? So again, when you look at that, you go back to that article here, and they're talking about Shane Dawson. You see what I mean? Like, they have been obsessed with the conspiracy realm for the better part of the past 5 years. Like, more than that, 6-7 years, maybe longer. They have been obsessed with them, and they have been trying to, take control of that realm. And the way that they've done it is they have cleared out most of the channels off these platforms, and then they have replaced those conspiracies with the Shane Dawson, Tana Mongeau, Matthew Santoro type conspiracies, the really silly stuff, the Taylor Swift is an android, Mandela effect, flat earth, things like that. That's what they have done. So they have launched a number of these operations to try to wrestle complete control over this. So yeah, YouTube took the campaign a step further, expanding its hate and harassment policies to prohibit any content that targets an individual or group with conspiracy theories that have been used to justify real-world violence. Real world violence, meaning Edgar Madison Welch. That's the biggest one that they give you. So one of the things that I'll show you about Edgar Madison Welch here is this is the fake story, of course, of the Pizzagate. Now, when you look at this, I know the New York Times here is prompting me to continue by giving my personal information, but this story is so incredibly fake that you have a totally scripted arrest happening in which the police tape has already been put up before the arrest has been made. This is dealing with Pizzagate. Now, I exposed this as a complete psyop. And this was all part of why we need to censor, because it leads to real world violence. So they set up the narrative of Pizzagate, and they blew it up in the media, and then they plastered it everywhere. And then eventually it culminated in this guy believing the conspiracy theories and taking a gun to go shoot up the pizzeria. Nobody was shot, but a hard drive or whatever was shot as he was trying to gain access. So the claim at Comet Ping Pong Pizza. So this is the narrative of this leads to real world violence. So they set up all of this in order for this narrative to be able to play out. This is how the game works. They want to convince people that conspiracy theories are dangerous and they need to be censored. So be very careful of these QAnon channels and what they could ultimately be about. And don't hold your breath on the lawsuit that is going forward, even though, you know, I do support a massive lawsuit against YouTube for what they have been doing. It's just you're having your QAnon operation behind it. So anyways, it's unfortunate, is it not? Patreon will remove creator accounts that promote QAnon content. And this will extend beyond just QAnon. They'll start with the QAnon, but then they'll start clearing other people out. So I've already taken steps on my Patreon to try to, again, like the way going forward for me, I'm going to make it clear to everybody out there, is titles and hashtags and stuff like that aren't going to exist. It's going to be very basic, very simple. Jeff C. Live, that's all. I'll show you all the stuff in the videos. I might do a half an hour or 45 minutes of cat news or whatever before I get into the real stuff to maybe throw off the censorships. I try to make it entertaining, though, like in the sense that I think you do get some stuff out of that. There's some humor and there's some interesting sort of anecdotes to throw into it all. But I have to take steps if I wish to remain on major platforms to avoid this type of censorship. These waves, because ultimately they don't really care about the operations they control. They care about the people they don't control. You understand? They care about people that are questioning their big event that is going on. You know, the big event, the great reset that they're doing. So anyways, we'll have to see how this one plays out. But as you see, they've updated their policy to ban QAnon. And then here are the this is the lawsuit preamble, or from the law firm here. And they mentioned the channels here: Just Informed Talk, SGT Report, X22 Report, Space Shot 76, True Reporting, Red Pill 78, Edge of Wonder. You ever seen Edge of Wonder? The dorks with the water guns. Praying Medic, Amazing Polly, Woke Societies, Daniel Lee. Daniel Lee, what a terrible channel that was. Wow. Deception Bites, in the Matrix, destroying the illusion. The actor, Jordan Sather, I guess, couldn't make it in Hollywood, but, found a career shilling on YouTube. Sarah Westall. So I'm familiar with about half of these channels. But they all appear to be QAnon related. I could be wrong. You tell me if some of them aren't QAnon, because maybe that's a bit hopeful if it's not the case. But yep, that's what's going on with that. So anyways, we can move on from all of that. Here, of course, is the Great Reset, which they're putting in your face here. Like, they're coming out and telling it. Probably at a certain point, now that the flu is no longer an issue, 98% drop in flu cases. I wonder how that works, of course. But you've got the Great Reset on Time magazine. And they're rebuilding the earth, as you see, to make it more diverse and sustainable and inclusive, because that's what this is all about. Now, will they let the world know that they lied about everything? I think a lot of these people that are on this, like, I don't know what they discuss behind the scenes. My belief is that what they do, this is just a theory, okay? So I want you to listen in for a second and maybe offer whether you think this is plausible or not. Okay. I'm going to tell you what I think is going on. So I'm thinking that a lot of the scientists and a lot of the actors and academia and corporation heads, CEOs and whatnot are given massive amounts of propaganda on global warming. So what I think they do is they put together these very highly polished Hollywood productions telling these people that the world is going to die, that there's runaway greenhouse gases, that the methane calthrates or whatever is going to destroy the world, and that we need to radically change everything really quick in order to accomplish this. Okay? Because like what I'm trying to suggest is this is the biggest plot in the history of the world, without a doubt, right? And how is it that so many people have signed on to it? How is it that so many people are pushing the whole scam? My belief is that this is how they do it behind the scenes. I believe they take these people and they take them and they stick them in a theater or something, and they show them horrible things, and they say the world is going to die unless we do this stuff. So this is what our plan is. And then they show them Agenda 2030. So that the people, whoever it is, whether it's CEOs or academia or even, say, celebrities, influential people, I believe that they use mind control on these people to convince them that this is necessary. And so now they're not hiding that this is the Great Reset. Like, they're coming out and they're pushing it everywhere, right? And they're getting people to buy into it, even though this proves conclusively that the whole thing has been set up. Most people are really dumb, and most people don't want to. Well, they don't. Like, look, a lot of people don't want to hear the truth. You remember the old film there with Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson? You can't handle the truth. Well, that's actually the truth about most people. Most people cannot handle the truth. When I was on the Penguin Zoo show, those guys could not even contemplate what I was presenting. And I explained it to them clearly. I said, your paradigm is so utterly threatened by what I say that everything would fall apart, and therefore you're scared. So most people that are out there, they don't want to hear. They don't want to know, because if they get the truth, they're not going to be able to hold themselves up. Their whole paradigm falls, their foundation falls from underneath their feet, and then they have nothing to hang on to. They're just, all their beliefs are controlled, right? Because if the biggest things in the world are being set up, then what isn't? Right? If you buy into so many of the agendas that are out there, you buy into global warming, you buy into LGBT equals WXYZ. You buy into depopulation. You buy into, all the different things, open borders and immigration and all these things. And then if you were to realize that this is a globalist coup d'etat and has been planned out for decades, if not centuries, right? And that your sort of belief system is manifesting it, that your idiocy and your refusal to think critically is what's making it happen. And that's the reality, is that most people are contributing to this. It's like all the kids that go to the Extinction Rebellion, right? It's Extinction Rebellion. You think about it, and you'd think it would make sense to them. They don't know what they're partaking in. They have no clue. They have no understanding of who runs the show and what their objectives are. Extinction Rebellion. It's funny how Montreal pops up right away. And you see on their homepage here, thank you, rebels. Look at this. Rebel for life. And they got an Asian girl with a muzzle on her face, right next to their hermetic symbol, which most of them would have no clue what it means. They have no clue what it means. They have no clue about the symbols, the esoteric sort of occult symbols that are all over and that they spray paint on walls. They have no idea what they mean. It's akin to, kids in high school scribbling out satanic things because, they're Black Sabbath or Led Zeppelin or whatever, are put those on their albums. So you start copying them out, right? You have no clue what it means. Rebel for life. Like, how ironic is that? You're a rebel of what? You're not rebelling against anything. In fact, what you're rebelling against, if we were going to be perfectly honest, is freedom. Yeah, that's what you're rebelling against freedom. Because the Agenda 2030 is the antithesis of freedom. It's giving up all your freedoms. So the video that I showed you in the intro, which was the whole thing there about, the year 2030, and it's coming from the World Economic Forum. It's coming from the United Nations, and it's saying in the year 2030, you'll own nothing, but you'll be happy. You'll own nothing, you'll be happy, you'll have no privacy. But don't worry, we're going to give you free vaccines. Don't worry, we're going to feed you Soylent Green, plant-based Soylent Green. Don't worry, we've got a nice sewer tube for you with 24/7 tranny porn. Like, people, a lot of kids are going to fall for this because they're going to see that there's no hope for them to be able to have the lifestyle because they've orchestrated this with student debt and all these things, right? That they've orchestrated this sort of chaos. They've orchestrated the youth into being the instrument of destruction of the old world. When they think that they're fighting fascist, they really are fighting for fascism. They like to throw out fascism too, like fascism, like the Antifa. It's like it's the craziest thing ever when they call people fascist. It's like, you are the ultimate definition of a fascist. You don't even know what fascism is. It's like you are practicing fascism with your complete complicity and, hatred towards anybody else. You are what you preach against. You are the exact embodiment of that. So rebel for life, you're rebelling against freedom. It's that simple, because Agenda 21, Agenda 2030 is the destruction of freedom. It is. Like, you might buy into it. Maybe you watch National Geographic, right? Maybe you read the New York Times. Maybe you watch CNN and you actually think that you believe what's being programmed into you every day, and you buy into it. Oh, the polar bears are dying. There's runaway greenhouse gas. Immigrants are the greatest thing since sliced bread. We got to stop having babies. We got to eat the babies. maybe you buy into it. And you buy into it because you're dumb, because you have been mind controlled. You don't buy into it because you have critical thought, because if you had critical thought, you would stop and you'd think and you'd say, what makes us free? And then you'd realize what really makes you free are your constitutional rights. That you are actually working to destroy everything that gives you freedom. And you are working to bring in fascism. What fascism and socialism are, they touch each other. Like when you go far enough, it's a circle, right? When it comes to politics, the left and the right, the big circle. When you go far enough either way, you're right at the same point. Whether it's full-on communist sort of dictatorship or it's a full-on fascist dictatorship, it's the exact same thing. It's a full-on tyranny of the corporatocracy, the government itself, that you have, supported, helped manifest. So this is just nuts what's going on. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. What do you mean? Tell the truth. What? Right? Look at this crap. Act now. Go beyond politics. Go beyond politics, and they're showing you a 6-sided hexagon. They're showing you the black cube. Saturn, basically. Go beyond politics. That's just nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And you think of the Extinction Rebellion. It's just the craziest thing ever. Honestly, it's the craziest thing ever. These are the stupidest people that have ever lived, like without a doubt. Whoops, I accidentally clicked on that. Two Faces, the Extinction Rebellion. It's interesting though. It reminds me of The Economist covers. I don't know which year it was. I'll just put The Economist year in review. If you can see the one that I'm referring to, I think it's this one here. Yeah. And it's interesting. You got the hermit here with the light. And you have the lightning bolt or the cracking of the earth. But you have all these people being led off a cliff, basically. I don't know if I can make that bigger. Let's see, open image in a new tab here. This was in 2017. And a lot of people obviously analyze. We used to analyze every year that would come out. You'd find all kinds of things on The Economist. The Economist, of course, is run by the Rothschild family. But this was one of the ones that stuck out for me more recently. Because, and I thought, just now of this symbolism that they were showing here with the masses of people being led like lemmings off a cliff, basically, that they're heading towards, right, death or chaos. So anyways, let's get back to everything that's going on. So yeah, the Great Reset, Time Magazine, this is their latest cover. Got to this one. I covered this one today on Twitter. Face mask. What are the rules for eating and drinking? Is it okay? This is the Montreal Gazette, Post Media here in Montreal, Stan. Is it okay to half mask while eating? Can you believe this? 2020. Is it okay to half mask while eating? No, you got a full mask. You got to eat with your mask on. How insane is this? I mean, imagine what they've done. And the interesting thing is the article that the Montreal Gazette, which is Post Media, run by Paul Godfrey, is not even linking their own website. It's linking this Healthing CA here. This is a different website here. Not even, it doesn't even seem to have the Post Media stuff. Oh, it's at the bottom. I don't know if you guys can see that. At the very, very bottom, they got the Post Media. Look, anytime you read a newspaper, any article you read, the first thing you should think about is who runs the newspaper, who owns the newspaper, who runs. You never ever read an article without that in mind. If you don't think, and then start thinking about who's writing the article, what's their history, right? But people don't think. This is 2020. It's the year where critical thought dies, or at least they're trying to manifest that. but imagine this. Can you sneak a sip of water while wearing a mask? Canada's health minister, Patty Hadju. Of course, Canada is full of white supremacy, right? And terrible white people. And yet our health minister's name is Patty Hadju, is facing criticism after a Twitter photo showed her without a face mask inside Toronto Pearson's airport. Hadju said she follows the Health Canada's mask guidelines, only removing the mask indoors when eating and drinking. And here is I thought this person was Indian by that name, by the way, Hadju. Following the public health rules is important to me. I wear a mask at all times at Toronto Pearson and only take it off to eat or drink as allowed. And then there she is in the airport. Because these people, again, seriously, the people that violate their bullshit rules are the people that are the ones that are trying to enforce them, right? It's insane what's going on. Any one of these people that you followed around, if you could follow them around, they would not comply with anything that they're saying. I guarantee you they're having the biggest freaking family dinners and parties and get-togethers and whatnot because they probably know it's all a big scam. And they only have to do it when the camera's on them. So when they're caught without the camera, then all of a sudden, oh, it's a controversy. But no, don't worry, right? It's okay. I do it all the time. So it just gives you an example. Monica Warsheka here wrote the article here for Post Media. And this just goes to show you how insane this mind control is, how far it goes, that they put out idiotic articles like this, suggesting that somehow you're violating the rules by sneaking in a sip of water. Somehow you're supposed to take that sip of water with your mask on, I suppose. Now they're saying 2 face masks, by the way. I'll show you that in a second. So let's move on here. This is big news. Everyone needs to pay attention to what's happening in Quebec because Quebec right now is Melbourne 2.0. We're going to talk about this on the Wednesday show with my mystery guest. But here is COVID-19 red zone restrictions extended until 23rd of November. We are right now the 26th of November. So basically it's another month. Now, a lot of stuff is happening because of this, because it is the Great Reset. If we think about it, what are the objectives? To crush the economy, basically. To put as many people out of business as possible. To destroy as many businesses as possible. Because it's the Great Reset. So they've got to crush the small business. They're not crushing the big businesses because the big businesses are the ones that are orchestrating this. They're crushing all the small businesses. All of them. All the restaurants, the bars, the gyms, right? The cafes, all of these places are being crushed by this. It's very bad in Montreal. There's a number of businesses now going under. All kinds of stores have closed. Iconic restaurants have closed, which is just awful. My favorite rib restaurant closed. I mean, that's bad, right? It's like, you know, when you live in a city like Montreal, it's so well known for its food, and when your icons start dropping, like you go to the best place to get the best ribs, for example, that's pretty bad, right? That just goes to show you how awful this whole thing is. But yeah, you see COVID red restrictions extended for another month, basically. And the premier of Quebec, hey, all you Quebecers out there, you better look into these guys. Because they're not pure land. I mean, they're not here for you. That's for sure. If they were, they'd be standing up to this. Because if you had a real leader in Quebec that cared about the Quebec people, the Quebecois nation, they would be standing up to this scamdemic, and they would be, encouraging businesses to flourish and the economy to do well while the rest of the world is all being shuttered, basically, right? But instead, you have globalists here in your government. So you'd have to really question the Coalition d'Avenir de Québec and who these people are, where they came from. I've never looked into the history of François Legault here, but there's no way, in any way, I'd trust this guy on anything. But yeah, we'll show you a bit of the talk about this. Now, this is interesting too, because now they've extended it. The gyms are going nuts now because the gyms, all the types of dojos and whatnot, right? Aerobic fitness centers, dancing centers, they're all dying. They're all like they're basically dead. Like I don't know how they could possibly survive. The crazy thing about it too is that all of these businesses had to spend thousands of dollars to get their frickin' gyms and dance halls and whatnot to have the plexiglass and the social distancing and all that crap, right? So they had to spend all this money, and yet they've been shuttered now. And now they're extending it even further. So it's really bad. They say they contribute. So hundreds of sports centers say they'll defy Legault and reopen Thursday. I'm 100% behind these people. This is insane. Every business should be doing the same thing. They say they contribute to the physical and psychological well-being of Quebecers, and the second shutdown pushed many of them into bankruptcy. And look at this. Look at how evil this is. Again, I'm not a gym person, but I think people going to gyms is positive, right? I mean, come on, seriously, you're doing exercise. There can't be anything bad. It provides jobs, gets people out of their homes. It makes people happy. If you're physically fit, you're a lot happier and emotionally fit than if you're sitting at home watching your mind control all day. That's for sure. And they tape up the machines just like they tape up the children's school parks. Operators of about 200 sports centers, including gyms, yoga centers, dance studios, and martial arts clubs, are asking Quebec Premier François Legault to lift the lockdown on their premises. The lockdown was ordered October the 8th because of the second wave. Speaking to reporters Monday morning in Quebec City, gym operator Dan Marino, who was visited by local police last June after reopening his fitness center in defiance of government orders, said he is ready to be fined should he reopen again. And there's Dr. Joe Schwartz with his little rubber duckies, your chemistry shill for the McGill University here, who's always on the Gazette, your Post media. I've got clients who are in psychological distress right now. We have people who need physical activity to keep them from falling back into the chasm of anxiousness and anxiety, he said. I'd rather get a ticket and challenge it with all of our group than find myself one morning saying I should have done something for someone who did harm to themselves. The coalition is called the Centre d'Activité Physique du Québec, is threatening to reopen Thursday if the premier cannot prove they are linked to second wave outbreaks of the virus. There's all of this. Look, I mean, how is it that the shitty fast foods and the Walmarts and all this can stay open, but the gyms can't, right? Or the fitness centers or whatever, right? The group argues that their centers are not a coronavirus hotspots and that they perceive that the second lockdown ordered by Quebec as a slap in the face. They say they contribute to the physical and psychological well-being of Quebecers and that the second shutdown pushed many of them into bankruptcy. We already saw that, but this is Post media. They love to repeat themselves. They note that they also spent considerable sums to make their centers conform to health regulations. The group says their centers will reopen Thursday across Quebec and continue to respect those rules. However, they add, if the government can prove they are responsible for COVID-19 outbreaks, they'll back down. Meanwhile, at the Association Restauration Québec said its membership was not ready to follow suit. It's too bad. They should all do the same thing. You should all do the same thing. Come on, seriously. Stop this shit. Everybody just goes back to work. It stops. If you all do the same thing, you all stand up to it, it ends. We can end this tomorrow. Acts of civil disobedience are not in the cards. It's not civil disobedience. Opening your business is not civil disobedience. Since when? Said the association vice president Francois Mounier. The government decree prevents it. If people want to act this way, they'll do it in groups that are not. Fire this guy. Get this guy out of here. Are you kidding me? Restaurants, oh, man. Unbelievable. You guys are allowing this tyranny. It's out of this world. Stand up to it. If enough of these businesses stand together, there's nothing they can do. You will take down the government. You will win. Stand up to this, please. Man, you gotta look at this. 20,000 restaurants in Quebec. This clown is behind. You guys you're a scumbag. You're betraying your own freaking people. You should be on this. Everyone should be on this. Everyone should be supporting these gyms. You know, I'd be interested to see the comments here. If there's no change in numbers this week, closing gyms had no effect. I'm a gym rat as well as an avid pub goer. I'd much rather have the gym open. It does wonders for my mental health, and going into second lockdown during the winter, it's more important than ever. Idiots, probably millennial idiots. Time we build a wall around Quebec. Lock the gate and then throw some body bags over the wall. If you have some people that want to die, it's unbelievable. You're killing the business. Of course, these are shill comments, right? Or just idiots. But I mean, these are the types of people that are the brown shirts of this. Like the people that would call out people like this and say you're idiots or selfish. What, you're selfish because you want to feed your family? You're selfish because you want to be able to freaking survive and pay your bills? Yeah, tell that to my face straight. Come on, come and do it. Unbelievable. That's what people should be saying. I mean, it's out of this world, folks. It's out of this world what's going on. And then here you got a retort here. How about you just stay in your house in fear and let everybody else live their life? Lock your door and throw your key away. That's right. He should mind his own business. Good. No more dictatorial, exaggerated measures. Legault and Arruda are destroying our economy with their fear. Nice to see some people. Good. People need to start standing up to these ridiculous restrictions. Take care of the vulnerable in the care homes and stop. Look, if there was a legitimate pandemic, that's the only sane thing to do. You take the vulnerable people and you stick them and you quarantine their asses. And you let everybody else work. But this is the Great Reset. Make no mistake about it. They have no intention of letting up on us. Look at this comment here. If someone kills themselves because they can't go to a gym, then that person had a mental disorder that needed to be treated with medications and psychotherapy. And shame on anyone that would say a gym kept someone from committing suicide. Honestly, you wonder about the people that write these comments. You just wonder about them. You wonder how awful some people are. Then you wonder why horrible things happen throughout history, where people rat on their own neighbors and own family members. And then you see these types of people, and they're all amongst us. These are the types of people that, whether it's a shill comment or some shill working the comment section, which is very common, or it's a legitimate retard, who is bought into the programming. Here's Scott saying physical exercise contributes to the release of endorphins, serotonin, etc. For hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions, in this province, it is a direct source of happiness and a major contributor to mental well-being. I doubt that anybody would kill themselves because they can't go to a gym, like you say, but what if it is the last things that is keeping you from a breakdown that might lead to suicide? And that's the whole thing. If somebody says, like for instance, people might die because they can't get their gyms. Yeah, but it's not a matter of, they have problems, so they have problems. They're not even allowed to work. They can't even open their businesses, and they can't even go to the gym to exercise. It could be the straw that breaks the camel's back. In other words, it's not the frickin' gym being closed. It's the fact that they can't go and get the frickin' exercise with all the other crap that's going on because of all the lockdown. These people can't see the forest for the trees, obviously. A lot of people can, obviously. I disagree. Dystopia does not improve people's minds. Routine does. And then look at this. Shame on you, Karen. These people represent what our society has become. Look at this comment here. Selfish, self-centered, morally decrepit. There is a war on the truth. What scientists and doctors are warning about doesn't matter as long as we get our treats. Our treats. Our treats. Working and opening your business and working your butt off is a treat. Working, 10 hours a day for many people, maybe more if you're owning a small business, busting your ass off just to pay your bills is a treat. Yeah, that's a treat. Over 6,000 dead in Quebec. Who cares? Yeah, exactly. Who cares? 6,000 dead in Quebec? Those people probably died of multiple other things, and most of them are in their 80s, 90s, and 100s. So what? People die every day. Emergency room doctors and nurses who are stressed. Where? The ones making the TikTok videos, that doing all the dancing, or the empty hospitals? Who are stressed and overworking, putting their lives and families at risk. Yeah. Is that what CNN tells you? Cancer patients who have to wait because the healthcare system is overwhelmed, or they're being told they have to wait because they don't want people coming in to see how empty the hospitals are. The hell with it. Elderly residents of nursing homes. I mean, these are Joshua Shepherd here. Congratulations. You're a butthole. Butthole of the day. At least people are standing up to this crap. But look at this. Suicides in Japan in June and July outnumber the total coronavirus deaths since it began. Time to stop the scamdemic. Legault has investments in pharma. There you go. That's what I'd say. Quebecois, fellow Quebecers, check into this guy. Check into him and Arruda with his 2030 pen. Who are these guys? What is this Coalition d'Avenir Quebec? Who is this? We'd be a lot better with a true blue separatist party in power than these guys, because they seem to be globalist folks. And that would be good. I would vote separation right now. You're darn tootin' I would. Are you kidding me? Get away from Turdo and where the whole frickin' rainbow unicorn land is going. I imagine that all the politicals do, and that's why they're ignoring doctors and even the WHO, which says the lockdowns aren't the answer. Civil disobedience is the last result. It's unfortunate that it's come down to this. The mortality rate never justified the lockdown. It's money and power concentration scheme. Couldn't upvote it enough. Nice to see he's getting enough votes, though. People are waking up. It's just not enough. We have to work harder, folks. You all have to work harder. Every single one of us has to work harder. We have to do the best that we can, but people are waking up. Please don't lose hope. Keep fighting. Trump says he hasn't given up controlling COVID. We'll listen into this silliness.
With the pandemic showing no signs of easing its grip on the U.S.,
the virus is now raging in many parts of the country.
Donald Trump insisting he isn't waving the white flag of defeat, as his Democratic challenger accused him of doing.
No, he has. He's waved a white flag on life. He doesn't leave his basement.
This weekend, Trump's chief of staff admitted the administration is moving on from controlling COVID.
We're not going to control the pandemic,
saying his boss is focused instead on vaccines and therapeutics. On Monday, he tried to do some cleanup.
We're going to defeat the virus. We're not.
Mark Meadows. Screw these people. Like, seriously, it's a clown show. It's a total clown show. He's just playing his role. Then you had this. Coronavirus. BC reports 817 new cases. Now, again, look at the comments. Look at the approval rating. People, like, what I'm going to say to you is this. All right? This is where you can make a difference. Go to these videos and leave comments and support people who are standing up to this. Go there and tell people that this is Agenda 2030 and try to reach people with good information. Use whatever you can to try to reach people, because people are waking up. This is what we see common on these videos. Like, people are waking up. I'm sure if you go to the like I put this, my comments are always shadow banned. So, but people come and they'll come and say, this is total bull crap. It's a scamdemic, right? This is the New World Order. This is Agenda 2030. And that's exactly what needs to be said over and over again. They repeat this stuff. We need to repeat it again. These people all need to be arrested for their involvement in this massive scam, crime against humanity. It's out of this world what has happened. Here we got Montreal-based CCM Hockey launches a new mask. Oh, boy.
That was the key, is something that could comfortable and also made sure that the visibility of the players was not being hindered.
Hockey players are eager to get
Like, what's the point? I mean, like, why do you have to wear them? Well, because they want you to emulate it. They're making it normal. This is not a mask, This is a sign of love. This is not a mask. This is a sign of freedom. This is a sign that you care. This is a sign of love. Unbelievable. So you've got now CCM, where used to make hockey sticks. Now they're going to make freaking COVID mask for hockey season.
like these. Depending on where you live in Canada, coronavirus measures, like those here in Quebec, have put a pause on team sports. But that hasn't stopped Montreal-based CCM Hockey from creating...
And why is there a pause on team sports, but all the pro sports are going? How does that make any sense? Of course, it makes no sense. Why are the NBA players, why don't they have to social distance? Why aren't they wearing a mask when they're playing basketball? Because it's a scam. That's why. It's that simple. They need the sports because the sports is controlled by the NWO and they use it as a weapon. Pro sports is cancer. But this is an example. It's like, oh, here's some solutions that we're going to bring in. Like wearing, like I'll tell you this, right? I play, when I used to play, I used to live, on a hockey rink, right? Like I was a freaking rink rat, freaking all the time playing hockey. And I would often play hockey in the middle of January, February, minus 20, minus 30. It doesn't matter. You don't wear anything on your face. Your face would be frozen, but you'd be sweating, buckets kind of thing because you'd be exercising, you'd be outside sort of thing. So you come inside, your feet would be frozen and tingling. Your face would all be frozen and tingling, but you'd be sweating and you'd have to take off your coat and stuff to cool down sort of thing, right? But wearing a mask while you're playing hockey is just insane. It's insanity.
Game on Mask, designed to give players a 1-2 punch of performance and protection from contamination.
What we're trying to do is recreate a cough, a continuous cough for about 10 seconds with the same droplet size as we're seeing in real human coughs. And what we're trying to do is to see how well we can contain it.
Concept development at CCM Hockey usually takes around 18 months. The Game On Mask was conceived in 2.5 months. COVID-19 put a pressure on the industry to come up with a quick and efficient way to test droplet transmission control.
I don't know if you noticed that. But the droplets are all coming out here. I'm going to show you that in slow motion here because it just goes to show you how absurd this all is. Let's slow it down here. Drip, 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 drip. Yeah. You guys are full of crap. Totally full of crap. It's all just part of getting you to buy into it. But I you understand some corporations that are like, okay, we're gonna make some money off this, but really, seriously, don't support any corporation that supports this type of crap. Let's move on. Let's watch Premier François Legault announcing his 4-week extension of the red zone.
Good evening, everyone. Our efforts over the past month have paid off. We stabilized the number of new cases. It shows that we're able to stop the virus when we all do our part. The situation is also under control in our senior homes, but we need to reduce the number of cases, hospitalization, and death. And to do that, we need 4 more weeks. I'm announcing that restrictions in red zones will continue until November 23. All the measures also to help...
By the way, I'll show you this. It's 28 days later. Because they said here 28 days. 28 days. I left that comment. I don't know where it was. On one of the videos here. I don't know if it was that one or whatever, but it's 28 days. They said another 28 days, right? They love using that. There we go. It's 28 days here. Why did the Quebec government decide on this time frame? So I put 28 days later, the Great Reset, Agenda 2030, wake the F up. And again, I can't say this enough, folks. If you can leave a comment, if you can say something, say something. You know, Camille just informed me that she's got new cards that she's given out. It's a great example. Get cards, print Event 201, Agenda 2030, The Great Reset, right? Clade X, right? Get cards and print out all these things and give them out everywhere. Leave them in bus stops and freaking cafes and whatnot, and start spreading the word as much as you can. It's very important, folks. Well, hang on, I'll go back there.
Businesses forced to close will also continue until then. We'll reassess the situation in 2 weeks. If our numbers decrease, we could see we can ease some restrictions earlier, but it will be only if the numbers decrease for a couple of weeks. For now, we only need to keep 2 activities, work and school. We need to reduce the number of outbreaks in workplaces. We're doing an inspection blitz to enforce the rules. Businesses that don't follow the rules could face sanctions and even closure. The situation is good in schools, but there are more cases among older students at secondary school. That's why I'm announcing that.
Yeah, let's see the cases. Can we see if these people are actually sick? Let's take all the cases. Let's take all the thousands of people that you claim are have this thing, and let's see if any of them are sick. Or if it's just your tests are finding that result because they've strategically been designed for that purpose. The PCR test, of course, which we know are bunk. It's all a big scam, folks. It's unbelievable. All these people need to be arrested. I mean, it's unbelievable what is going on. This is the greatest tyranny the world has ever seen. Like, there's never been anything like this. And it's like if people just stood up and said the emperor has no clothes, it would be over. If all of humanity just stood up and said no, it would be done. It's unfortunate that most people are dumb. That's the reality. So...
secondary 3 students will alternate between online and in-person school.
Let's switch to this one here.
Why 28 days? Why not more? Why not less? What made you come up with the 28-day number?
But it's after discussing with public health, it looks like we think it's reasonable over 28 days to see a reduction. During the first 28 days, we were able to stabilize. We think that it will take another 28 days to see a reduction.
And is there any more assistance coming to businesses that have been struggling with the measures? I'm sure a lot of people are hearing this and they're probably quite
I have to repeat that there's no province having given more help to businesses than Quebec by far, and will continue to do so. I understood, and I've asked questions today about the delay to get the help. Some of them told me that it was a long delay, so I've asked Pierre Fitzgibbon to make sure that we shorter the delay.
28 days. We have to choose the less worse situation. So he's talking about the gyms here.
I understand that the mental health is at risk, but right now we have to choose the less worst solution. And I understand that there's an impact on mental health, but the gyms will have to respect the law, and police people will assure that, and they'll have fines if they don't respect the law.
It's just great, eh? Isn't that just great? You're going to fine the businesses that are on the verge of bankruptcy because they open their businesses because they're going bankrupt. So you're going to fine them? Of course, because that's what this government is doing here. And then we've got Europe here. So the second wave surge. And I always say waves, waves, waves. Ever since this whole thing started, I said pay attention to the wave symbolism.
In Spain, a nationwide curfew has been ordered to control a new coronavirus spike. In France, hospitals are struggling under the strain of surging COVID-19 infection.
And again, like, it's all a manipulation, folks. If you're dumb, you sit at home and you watch this and you believe it. If you're dumb. If you have critical thought, you would say, oh, here's more scripted news stories. Where is this actually being filmed? Is that a crisis actor in the chair? Is more scripted garbage? Is that what it is? Right? This is what they do. They try to scare you. They try to spook you. Oh, it's terrible. The hospitals are overrun. People are dying. They got a whole clown show going on here.
Hospitals are struggling under the strain of surging COVID-19.
Where? You say hospitals are struggling. Where's the proof? Where's the proof? Why is it that everybody that goes to film the hospitals, they're all empty? Listen to the narrative. Listen to the woman here, reporter, who's saying this. What do you know? You're in Toronto, and you're trying to tell us what's going on in Europe. Why is somebody with a freaking microphone in Toronto trying to tell you what's going on in Europe?
19 infections. In Italy, government officials have announced new restrictions, the most severe since lifting its lockdown. As a second wave surges through Europe, it's clear the fight is far from over.
La situación que vivimos es extrema.
We are living in an extreme situation, said the Spanish Prime Minister, the most serious in the last half-century. In addition,
hey, we got some footage of an ambulance. There we go. I hate this. I hate the media so much. Oh man, because it's this show. It's make believe, folks. But people watch this and they buy it, and they're like, I guess we better put our muzzles on. I guess we better close down our business.
Declaring a second state of emergency, the government there has imposed nighttime curfews, and travel between regions can be banned under the emergency measures. Like many other European countries, Spain is entering a new emergency phase of the pandemic, and health workers are back in the trenches. The French health minister warns hospitals will soon see the consequences of weeks of growing infections. The serious cases arriving in our hospitals today...
Same thing that played out in Quebec a month ago. It's the exact same narrative, folks. The exact same narrative. That's why it's so important to pay attention when it happens. It's so important for everybody to pay attention to Melbourne when it was going on there. Just like now, Quebec. And next it's going to be... Well, we already had the first one in Spain and Italy, which was bad enough. And of course, in Italy, we were showing all the mayors that were coming up and threatened to use flamethrowers and chainsaws on people. Like they were actually threatening their people, like they would kill them with chainsaws and flamethrowers. I'm like, why aren't these people hung? Like, seriously? Like, what? Did you just threaten to burn your own people with flamethrowers because they're not staying inside? I think you should probably be arrested and spend the rest of your life in a cell. God, these people are unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Result of infections that happened 15 days ago, he said, as reported by Reuters. On Sunday, France reported a new record of more than 50,000 cases in a day. But the government's chief pandemic advisor says
On est dans une situation très difficile.
The country is probably already seeing 100,000 new COVID cases per day. He estimates the true daily case toll is twice the recorded figure, considering asymptomatic cases and people who are not getting tested.
Qu'elle va s'aggraver pendant plusieurs semaines. Là,
says a top infectious disease expert, France has lost control and should be under lockdown. In Italy, tighter restrictions have come into force that the Prime Minister hopes will prevent the need for a second lockdown like the one they had in the spring.
Permettere al nostro sistema sanitario.
Bars and restaurants have been ordered to close even earlier, while gyms, theaters, and cinemas have been totally shut down. The European...
It's the exact same script. The exact same script.
CDC has warned while young people are driving a second, less deadly surge of COVID-19, there is a high likelihood death rates will soon rise. Its latest situation report says, with high levels of community transmission, the protection of medically vulnerable individuals becomes more difficult, and it is inevitable that more individuals who are not considered medically vulnerable will develop severe disease.
Unbelievable. Just shut the F up. Oh, then we got, here's everyone who tested positive for COVID-19 in connection with the White House. They're going to show you, start with Mike Pence. So, you know, what's the one thing that all these people have in common? They have no symptoms. What's the one thing what happened to Trump? He had COVID for what? A cup of coffee? He didn't even have a cough? Not even a sniffle? Unbelievable. Clown show. Clown show. This is, I like that. Mike Pence's body man. It's his body man. I know what a bodyguard is, but a body man? I don't know.
We're all going to do our part. Protect the vulnerable to save lives. And as Joe Biden is talking about shutting down our economy again, we are opening up America. I think this was a blessing from God that I caught it.
And we are deeply moved by the strength of the people who have lost everything. More than 20 years ago.
It's a clown show. It's a clown show. The whole thing is a clown show. Of course, and it's only the Republicans that get it, not the demon rats. And it's the Republicans because they don't abide in that they have their gatherings and they don't mask enough and they don't buy into it enough. And there's the White House press secretary, and it's like, it's garbage, folks. It's all a big show. You still buy into the left, right after all of this? I feel sorry for you. I mean, seriously. This is actually surprising. Somebody had sent this to me today. I can't remember who it was, but thank you very much. And I don't watch South Park, but this kind of little clip actually nails it. I don't think I can show it to you because you know how the copyright works with this crap. But they actually really mock the whole thing here in this little segment. And they show how ridiculous the whole thing is. In fact, they got the kids in the plexiglass with the mask, and they're making a point of how ridiculous it is. And then they got the police here along, and they got the COVID-19, wash your hands, wear a mask, don't touch others, be safe, and all this crap. And then one of the kids comes in, and he doesn't want to comply. And so they force him, and they put a mask on him. And then he's wearing the mask. And then he takes it off and he starts coughing on the kid next to him. So what happens is the police then pull out their guns and start shooting. They start shooting, right? And they hit a black kid, like in the shoulder or something like that. And the white cop says, "I got him." Which again kind of plays the whole BLM thing. So you get a little bit of truth with a little bit of bull crap to mix with it. But then what happens is the I guess this is the principal, the teacher says, you know, we were able to get control of the situation, and the person that contracted the COVID, you know, we've taken care of or whatever. And then the kids say, no, he was shot. He didn't get COVID. He was shot.
And Token was actually taken to the hospital because you guys shot him.
Yes, due to COVID.
Yes, due to COVID. So I was surprised that they actually did that. Hopefully I won't get a copyright for that little segment I played. I figured I got to play at least a bit of it. I think Hell on Wheels sent me this one. Thank you, Hell on Wheels. Two-face mask may be more protective than wearing one. Yeah, two-face masks are better than one. And then they show these two women walking down the street with their diapers on their faces. So what does this woman do when she's got to take a sip of her drink? Does she have the zipper there? I mean, did she sneak the straw in the side? I don't know how that works. This is Business Insider here. When it comes to preventing COVID-19, or the spread of COVID-19. We know that more distance between people is better than less. Smaller crowds are safer than larger, and outdoor activities are less risky than indoor ones. We also know that a wide variety of face masks work to protect both the wearer and those around them. So, are two better than one? And here you go. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. She's got the two mask on. Two mask. You got the wow. That's just astonishing. It's just out of this world here. All right, let's move on from that. Yeah, this is not COVID related here, but somebody came and had fun with the whole Black Lives Matter thing here. So I don't know where this is. I don't know if it says where it is, but somewhere in the United States, we'll assume. Somebody came with a pickup truck that was equipped to dispense some paint. So we'll show you here.
God gave it to me. Not one politician, not one government legislation can take it from me.
No. I don't know why they're playing that crap in the background, but yeah, you got a guy with a pickup truck here. And he's dumping paint. Again, it's all your left-right game, of course. You know, I like the idea, right? These things shouldn't be painted in our cities, period, ever. So, you know, I kind of like the idea behind it, but it is part of a controlled left-right paradigm that they love to push. So the MAGA people will love this and post it everywhere. And then what happens conversely with the Antifa and the BLM is that they'll use this as an example of how awful and evil white people are, and how bad white privilege is, and how disgusting Trump supporters are, and it just plays out endlessly. So it doesn't really achieve anything other than messing up for a day or two, and then they'll just come and repaint it because, you know, that's the way it goes. But anyways, then we got the Trump and Sacha Baron Cohen. This guy here, my word, if there's some guy I'd like to take in the boxing ring, it'd be this turd. Really strong, huge dislike for this scam artist here, this Mossad agent here, Sacha Baron Cohen. And, of course, now he's going after Trump, and they're just playing their roles. That's not important. Then we've got here Vice President to miss Trump Supreme Court vote, the big Supreme Court vote here. The countdown, I am young, and this is why I vote. Gen Z are turning out to vote. The whole notion they program you with, because they're bringing in the change, and they want the youth to believe that they're the cause of the change. So I could see Trump for another 4 years because he's perfect, but I could also see Biden and Harris because the youth went out, and the story, right? And of course, this is Brothers Grimm story, but you know what I'm saying? The youth went out and voted en masse, which caused the revolution to happen and got the demon rats in, and now we're on the path towards political change. Of course, I did show the video of the video game, which I caught off TMF's channel. So shout out to TMF. I showed that after the intro there, which was the Civil War game, which came out in 2005 or something, but it accurately predicted much of what is happening right now, which is a complete divided house. You know, they say a divided house can't stand, stuff like that. A divided nation will fall apart. Well, they're showing you this because they're manifesting it. So this is why it's important for people to understand, though, that there can be a right and wrong on specific issues, and there is undoubtedly on some things, but the left-right paradigm is there to be used as a weapon to deconstruct America. So you have to understand that even though you might go in and vote in the selection, and I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I'm saying that you should be very careful if you think that Trump and the Republican Party is somehow the solution to what is going on, because they brought in the scamdemic, right? They also gave you 9/11 and many other things. So be careful. Pick your poison carefully. But the solution will never be in the two-party system ever. The real solution is a new. Well, I mean, almost need like an anti-Freemason party, anti-Freemason, anti-Zionist style party that will refuse to work for any corporation and will be as transparent as possible and will abide by American Constitution is what you need. You need a third party because you do need a gang to take out those other gangs. So you will have to manifest something eventually politically. But the only solution I could see is a third party that would adhere to absolutely 100% defense of American rights in every way, shape, and form. And, that's really the only possible hope. Then you get stuff like this. Look at how dumb this story is. This has got to be the most retarded story of the day here. Do I have it here? Yeah, look at this. Living in Meghan's shoes helped Prince Harry see racial bias. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. I'm darker skinned than this person is. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me that this person has ever had real racism or a really hard day. Do you really think that Meghan Markle at some point was really a victim of horrible racist sort of, I mean, it's just insane to push this. And it's like these douchebags, the richest people in the world, living the most pampered and privileged lives in existence, are somehow going to tell you, yeah, I learned a lesson that you should all learn, right? Living in Meghan's shoes. Like, well, did you live in her shoes? Did you dress up like her? You freaking scumbag, right? The Duke of Sussex, suck it, has admitted his upbringing as a member of the royal family meant he had no understanding of unconscious racial bias. This is just your program. It's your mind control. It's all Agenda 2030. Prince Harry said it took him many years and the experience of living in his wife's Meghan's shoes to recognize the issue. And don't be surprised if he actually does wear her shoes and her stockings and her freaking wardrobe, her lingerie and whatnot. I would not be the least bit surprised. These people are absolute degenerates. He said, I had no idea it existed. The Duke made his remarks in conversation with Black Lives Matter supporter Patrick Hutchinson at the launch of British GQ's Heroes Festival. British GQ's Heroes Festivals. Mr. Hutchinson, a personal trainer, rose to fame after he was photographed carrying an injured white man to... Why does it have to be a white man? During a class... Oh, it's this stupid bullshit photo, which I covered before. You're fake bullcrap. You're fake bullcrap. You're fake garbage. You're scripted garbage. This is what your media is. It's a script. It's a Brothers Grimm tale. It's here is the selfless immigrant black man saving the racist white man. it's as real as Carlos Arredondo. Carlos Arredondo. All the flags was gone. You see all the flags was gone. You know the flags. We turned put the what was it called there? A tourniquet. No, the tourniquet. Yeah, we'll put the tourniquet on. That's what it is. It's just a clown show, folks. You want to believe it? Go ahead. Get your New York Times bestseller. Whack your head with a mallet. Enjoy your tranny programming. I mean, it's so utterly idiotically scripted, and if you can't see it, I feel sorry for you. But that's the way it goes. Speaking from his home in Santa Barbara, California, via video call, the Duke said, no one's pointing the fingers. You can't really point fingers, especially when it comes to unconscious bias. Unconscious. It's a horrible white thing. Only white people have it, of course. Unconscious bias. Sure, there's no black people that look at white people and think things. No, it never happens, folks. Never. But once you realize or you feel a bit uncomfortable, then the onus is on you to go out and educate yourself because of ignorance is no longer an excuse. Oh yeah, you just know the whole script, don't you? An unconscious bias, from my understanding, having the upbringing and education that I had no idea what it was. And the irony of the world's most pampered and privileged douchebags in existence trying to tell you, yeah, you know what, it's real, and yeah, I figured it out because, I dress up like my wife every night. And then it's sad to say it took me many, many years to realize it, especially then living a day or a week in my wife's shoes. There's so much we can do. And then, of course, he's got to put Black history and more immigration and whatnot. And again, folks, it's all part of Agenda 2030. This is all your programming. All of it is your programming. Meghan Markle is a psyop, period. Period. It's a psyop. The whole thing is a psyop. It's all garbage. It's all their Agenda 21 programming. Uh-oh, looks like you're using an ad blocker. Yeah, because I'm sick of all your garbage. Trump's taxes, election, and abortion cases wait Barrett's first week. So Amy Coney Barrett being the newly appointed Supreme Court member. Mask required during event tonight, White House says. Barrett's answers on Roe versus Wade were different. And they're going to use the whole Barrett being installed because of the hideous creature. Remember the creature that used to... Did you guys see that thing that was in the Supreme... Did you see the entity? What would you call that held the chair prior to Amy Coney Barrett? What would you call that? What would it be? Because I don't think it's human being. I don't know what it was, but it was some demonic creature that was there before. So they're going to use that demonic creature, and they're going to say that demonic creature was the greatest thing that ever existed, and that this new person that came in is the worst thing that ever existed, and we need to go out and burn things because we cannot have people not murdering their babies. That would just be terrible. There's John King. Imagine John King. He married a poodle. Did you guys ever see that? He actually married a poodle. I can't believe it. He's like, I thought it was, I didn't know that it was legal to marry dogs in the United States, but John King proved it. Anyways, so road to 270, Biden leading in these battleground states. And John King, they always bring him out with the frickin' maps. He's the guy with the maps. He's the map guy. He's like, and then we'll look over in this state here, and then we can see the numbers here in this state, and then we'll look over here at Ohio, and then we'll look at Florida, right? And if we go over here to this place, it looks like Biden's in the lead. And it's all just a big game. It's all just garbage. Anyways, let's move on from that. Ashley Graham and Twitch on being interracial marriages and raising their kids. You see, it's just a script. It's a script. It's the same script everywhere you go. The same script. You want the script, right? Black Lives Matter, interracial, open borders, vaccines for the win, wear a mask, social distance, close your businesses, act like a retard, change your gender, right? Stop having babies, murder babies. You gotta eat the babies. We gotta eat the babies, right? So just this Ellen degenerate, Ellen Tube. And now she's got some black guy who's filling in, I guess. I don't know. I don't even know who this thing is. His name is Twitch, and for some reason the W is capitalized, but the T isn't. So are you trying to say witch with the T? Is it a witch with a twitch? Is it a witch that twitches? I don't know. I thought Twitch was like a video game platform that people like Penguinzo use. And there's no volume here. What's going on? There's no volume? No, I took it down.
Please welcome the incredible Ashley Graham. Wow. Ashley, what's up?
I'm so excited for you. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you. This is awesome. Yeah. F these people. Then look, the same script everywhere you go. Progress towards gender balance and peacekeeping in peril, committee told. Look at this crap. Now, I was in the military, right? I'll tell you one thing about the military. None of the women that were in the military, and there was a bunch of them, made it through boot camp. Let me repeat that for people out there. None of the women that were in boot camp made it through. Why? Because boot camp is freaking hard. And they didn't have to do real push-ups. They could do the push-ups on their knees and stuff like that, right? Because being a soldier is very difficult. I'm not saying some women can't do it. Some women can. Some women are extremely tough. But there's never been a woman Navy SEAL. There's never been seriously. Why? Because most women would never be able to physically stand up to it because they're women. That's why. It's not because they're lesser than men. It's just because men are much stronger. But here is the garbage that they want to shove down your throat. Like somehow the military's all wrong because there's way too many men in the military and we got to do something about it. It's like, no, women should not be playing soldier. Sorry, that's just my opinion. I know it's extremely offensive, but take your New World Order and shove it. Progress towards gender balance and peacekeeping in peril. It's in peril. Oh my God, gender balance and peacekeeping. What if we don't have gender balance and peacekeeping? What will we do? We need the gender balance and peacekeeping. We need gender balance and peacekeeping. Why don't you get a Manny Paul on it? A man named Paul. What's the leader of the leader of the black Jewish woman who leads the what's it called? The Green Party? Good Lord. But yeah, Canada's military is still scrambling to amend gender balance in the ranks. And it's insane. Look, women, I'm telling you, the military life sucks donkey balls. It sucks. It's the most unfeminine thing in the history of the world. Do you understand that? Like, if you want to do the most unfeminine thing ever, join the military, okay? And have fun. Right? You want to be G.I. Jane? Okay, go ahead, right? But don't, it's not a place where you're going to cry if you crack your nail. I mean, you're going to have 8 billion other things that you're going to be stressed out about. You're never going to sleep again, and you're going to be treated like dog shit. All right? It's not fun for anybody. It's not fun for men. How could it be fun for women? All right? So get the frig out of town. All right, like like I'll just say this. I know it's extremely offensive to the NWO, but I don't think women should be in the military. I really don't. I think the military sucks. Period. It absolutely sucks. Because what do you do in the military? You learn to give up all individuality. That's the whole thing. They kill that in you. You become a freaking soldier. What is a soldier? An unthinking grunt that does what they're told. You do not question orders. Do you understand? It's not a liberating career. It's the opposite. So, gender bias. And by the way, who is responsible for getting women in the military in the United States? Do you know? Come on, I mentioned that entity before. It's something that existed before Amy Coney Barrett came in. Do you know the creature that I mentioned before? That was the creature that got all the women in the military. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that funny how that works? Isn't that funny how it works? I don't understand why any women would want to be in the military. I don't understand why women want to play rugby. I really don't get it. I understand why women want to do cheerleading and ballet and dance and all those things, because those are feminine things and they're beautiful to watch and they're lovely and they're made for women, and you know. But rugby? The military? Come on! I mean, seriously. You really want to go in there? You really want to do that? You don't want to do that. Trust me, you don't want to do that. I really, there are some women, and I'll say this, and I say this about firemen too. There are some women that can be firemen, and if they can, and if they can physically pass the test, by all means, they should be, because they deserve to be there. And I'll say the same thing about the military. If you're strong enough. But they have lowered the standards anyways because of all the crap that they do, right? Like, we used to do crazy stuff in the military, and a lot of that stuff has been done away with because, you know, people die or people have, you know, breakdown or have a nervous breakdown or physical breakdown and stuff like that. And then they got, we got to come in and change everything. Somebody had a rough time. Anyways, military life sucks. So even if you're a guy, I do not recommend it. When I went into the military, I was a young, stupid guy, you know, fresh out of high school. And, you know, I was very physical and into challenges, and I was stupid. So the United Nations is getting nation's goal of getting more women to serve in peacekeeping. Like, and again, peacekeeping, just shut up. Just shut up. There's no such thing as peacekeeping. There's banker keeping, right? There's New World Order keeping. It's not peacekeeping. Peacekeeping is a sham. It doesn't exist, peacekeeping. You're not keeping any peace. You don't belong there. We don't belong there. We don't belong in foreign countries. Sorry. You know what? I'll say that about the Star Trek, at least. They had what was the first, the first protocol or whatever. I don't know. They had this thing where you don't interfere with frickin', alien species or whatever that are lower than you or whatever. You let them play it out. Whatever happened to that? You kind of miss those days where United States was more isolationist, right? And just taking care of their own thing instead of trying to run the world. But, peacekeeping is the biggest sham ever. The blue hats and all that crap, it's a sham, folks. It's garbage. It's the New World Order. That's what it is. So it's so insane when you think about it. Look at this. So the United Nations goal of getting more women to serve in peacekeeping missions in conflict zones is at risk now because of the global pandemic and erratic approach to gender equality taken by countries before the pandemic hit, a Canadian diplomat said today. Loch Ness Monster said, testifying before the House of Commons Committee on National Defense, Jacqueline O'Neill, who holds the title of Ambassador for Women, Peace and Security, acknowledged that progress made to date on gender imbalance or balance in peacekeeping has been on paper, but says she remains optimistic. Many multilateral organizations, NATO and the African Union included, have adopted policies that point towards gender equality. Again, there is, the military is mind control on steroids to the nth degree. You don't go in the military to be a free thinker or to be an individual. You go in the military to be shouted at all day and to stand at order and attention and do what you're told and shoot people they tell you to shoot. And that's it. They don't want people to think for themselves. So how on earth going in the military for women is going to be liberating? It's the opposite of liberating. It really is. It's unbelievable that anybody would think that somehow they're going to better their lives by doing it. It's just insane. It's just insane. It's like to me, this would be horrible punishment for any woman. If you went through the boot camp that I did, all right, if you went through that type of boot camp, I can't imagine any girl I know surviving a day, one effing day in that type of environment. I absolutely cannot. I don't know how, and that's not an insult to the women. That's actually a compliment because you're actually good, free. Women, you've got feminine qualities, you're delicate in some ways and sensitive and all these things. You are definitely not the type of fresh meat for the grinder. And that's a compliment. So please don't take it the wrong way. But it's absurd. It's absurd. It's absurd. I remember one time, I'll tell you a story about the military. I don't really tell stories, but I'll tell you one story. Because we do these rucksack marches, right? So you'd have about 70, 80 pounds of gear, a helmet and a rifle. You have to hold at a 45-degree angle the whole time. You'd have a big rucksack on your back. You'd have webbing, canteen, all that stuff, extra freaking magazines and the whole works, grenades. And sometimes, you'd be carrying the bigger rifles and stuff like that. And there was one time we were doing a 5-kilometer, which wasn't really a long one compared, and the only girl that was left couldn't make it. So what they did was they got one of my buddies and they made her hang on to the back of his freaking rucksack, and he pulled her for 3 freaking kilometers while she was screaming the entire time and sobbing uncontrollably. And this was a butch woman, if you know what I'm saying. This was not a little delicate princess. This was like a type of woman that you'd be like, you better wake your ass up type of thing, right? So, just a strong warning to girls that are out there that might think about doing this path. Don't. That's all. I would never do it. That's for sure. And I was so stupid. Anyways, when you're young and you're dumb, you do stupid things, and we all do. And that was the video here, 8 predictions for the world in 2030, which I showed you before. And what else do we have here? We showed you that. Look at it. I just caught this in my feed, and it's milk with a C in it. Milk and bipolar sunshine. Bipolar sunshine. Who would call themselves bipolar sunshine? Like, seriously, get the freak out of town, bipolar sunshine. Ooh, they perform Somebody's Beloved. I'm not going to play this song here, but I mean, it's just so insane the way that the way that these people are named and how they have the agendas in their names, like normalizing bipolar frickin' thing, right? That's what they're doing. They're you know, like Halsey, who's tri-bi. 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 Oh, why be just bisexual like Shane Dawson? I'm bisexual. Why not be tri-bi or quai-bi or whatever bi? I mean, you could be how many bis you want to be these days. And there's the cat video, and I think I made it through everything. Yep, I did. That was Monday Madness. Thank you all so much for tuning into the show. And I want to say, yeah, hang in there, folks. What was I going to take a few seconds here just to close out and say thank you first and foremost for taking part in the show tonight. Maybe if you haven't already, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you're subbed and sub my backup channels, because you know how we get censored like crazy. Secondly, if you do like the show, please try to come and support it. That's very, very important, which is my Patreon link in the description. And there's a lot of great things, there's a community tab, all this stuff there. You can personally message me, all these things. So really appreciate that. You'll get every video, every live show that I do. You'll get an email telling you, you know, so if it's D-Live or it's Libering or whatever, whatever platform I'm uploading, you'll know. And you can sign up for as little as $2 a month. That really, really helps me, because it's how I pay my bills and you know, survive sort of thing. So huge shout out and thanks to all my patrons, and you guys are awesome. And I just want to say, closing out here, please try to be the change you want to see. Set the example. Stand up. Speak out while you still can. Because the muzzle is a muzzle. That's what it is. The muzzle means we don't want you to talk at all. We don't want you to stand up. We don't want you to congregate. We don't want you to you know, get together and stand up to what we're doing. So they don't want us. They want to prohibit us from getting together, from forming groups or forming any sort of resistance to what they're doing. So understand that they are violating all your rights. You are violating nothing. Right? You should be allowed to open your business. You should be allowed to work. You should be allowed to breathe in the clean air and do what you typically would do in a daily sort of basis sort of thing. So, you know, again, be the change you want to see. Stand up and don't fight with people, but stand your ground, you know, kind of thing. That's the way I take it, because I look at people, most people, and I deal with people every day, you know, that they don't know, right? And they're just controlled and they don't understand. So don't look at them with hate, just maybe a bit of sympathy and maybe try to talk to them if you can, sort of thing, because you never know. Anyways, I want to say a huge thanks again for everybody tuning into the show today. It was a big show, almost 2.5 hours here. So, yeah, I'm looking forward. Oh, yeah, Wednesday, mystery guest. Ooh, can you guess who the mystery guest will be on Jeff C. Live? That'll be 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday afternoon, which is the 28th of October. So, and then maybe on Friday, that'll be 28th. Maybe on Friday, I'll get to do a Halloween show, because I like doing the Halloween shows. So I'm going to try to... Maybe I'll get Cookie and TMF or a few people on, sort of thing. Talk some horror movies and stuff. Have some fun with the bone broth kind of thing. I usually do a Halloween show every year, so I might do that on Friday. I haven't quite finalized it yet, but hopefully. Anyways, we do have to have fun. Please do have fun. Remember, smile and enjoy life. Don't let them take your joy away. Please get out there and have fun and be with people and live your lives and, you know, have fun. It's so important. Anyways, you guys are totally awesome. Much love. God bless you all. See you guys all on the next one. Take it easy, folks.
Out of these troubled times, our fifth objective, a new world order can emerge, a new era, freer from the threat of terror, stronger in the pursuit of justice, and more secure in the quest for peace. An era in which the nations of the world, east and west, north and south, can prosper and live in harmony. 100 generations have searched for this elusive path to peace, while 1,000 wars raged across the span of human endeavor. And today that new world is struggling to be born. A world quite different from the one we've known. A world where the rule of law supplants the rule of the jungle. A world in which nations recognize the shared responsibility for freedom and justice. We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, and we will be, and we will be, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order. An order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders. What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order, where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause to achieve the universal aspirations of mankind: peace and security, freedom, and the rule of law. Such is a world worthy of our struggle and worthy of our children's future. Now we can see a new world coming into view. A world in which there is the very real prospect of a new world order. A world where the United Nations, freed from Cold War stalemate, is poised to fulfill the historic vision of its founders. And that's why I wanted to speak to you today about the new world taking shape around us, about the prospects for a new world order, for a new world order, for a new world order now within our reach.
Time and time again about the new world order. And this is the best chance to begin to establish the new world order. And that's why the stakes are so high.
And after 1989, President Bush said, and it was a phrase that I often use myself, that we needed a new world order. We needed a new world order. We needed a new world order.
Now, much has been said by the Secretary of State and others about a new world order, about a defining moment in history. And how negative or positive it will depend on what kind of new world order we really create. Can it really be said that this is a true new world order when it lacks a true United Nations collective security effort?
What do you think America's place in the new world order should be?
No, I think this would be the time, because you really need to bring China into the creation of a new world order.
There's a need for a new world order.
Henry Kissinger pointed out in his superb book on diplomacy. He said, "None of the most important countries which must build a new world order have had any experience with the multi-state system that is emerging. Never before has a new world order had to be assembled from so many different perceptions or on so global a scale."
As I've told you before, because I love it so much, they also created the Great Seal of the United States. And that Great Seal of the United States has on it, Novus Order Seclorum, a new order for the centuries, for the ages, forever, 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 forever.
Oh my God!
there is a chance for the President of the United States to use this disaster to carry out what his father, a phrase his father used, I think, only once, and hasn't been used since, and that is a new world order, a new world order, a new world order.
The transatlantic partnership was never just the foundation of our security. It was the foundation of our way of life. It was forged in experience of the most bitter and anguished kind. Out of it came a new Europe, a new world order, a new world order, a new world order, a new world order.
Commander, telling me that they were not sure they would be able to contain the fire. I said, we've had such terrible loss of life. Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.